her entire speech, but basically it culminated with the line that women of color can't win an Emmy without the roles, and the only difference in them and their counterparts is just opportunity. I thought it was wonderfully stated, but of course, in a moment like that, there has to be someone that lets a comment go, and Nancy Lee Grahn came out and said that, or tweeted, sometime soon after the win, that Davis is elite and that she's never been discriminated against. Now, these aren't the most, piercing comments that have ever been made, but she took a lot of flack for it. I thought I even saw that she got suspended or something from her show. What was your thoughts on this?
Ooh, I was pretty upset because I was kind of seeing it while she was tweeting it, and she had a lot of comments to say, and then she tried to clean it up with, "Oh, I'm sorry," but what was, I guess, more annoying about it is that, this was an actress. This is a woman who's an actress saying these things on Twitter, but there are so many people who agreed. So many people. I read a comment saying, well, why did she have to mention, why do you have to say the first black woman? Why can't you just say first woman? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because in 60 plus years, there hasn't been anybody else besides white women to win the award. What are you talking about? But this is really, and that's what I can't get with white feminism, because it's, we need equal rights, blah, 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 blah. But then when it comes to black women or Latin women or Asian women, oh, you guys need to be quiet. And so it really pissed me off because even she's comparing herself as a soap opera star to Viola Davis, who is a Tony Award winner, who is a movie star, who is TV, like real TV drama series. No, they don't respect, soap opera stars as much as they're going to do a movie star. But just because you're not getting an Emmy, maybe because you're not as talented, don't say that somebody else hasn't been discriminated against. Like, your struggles does not devalue mine, or just because I have struggles, that doesn't mean that yours don't matter. I felt like her statement is kind of like me saying, okay, I have lupus. If somebody comes to me and says, well, I have MS, and I say, well, I have lupus, so your MS doesn't exist and your MS doesn't matter. Like, that's how she came off to me. And it's like so many people, why do you have to say the first black woman? Because she was the first black woman. That was the point of her mentioning race. She didn't say anything wrong. She didn't say anything rude or prejudiced. What she simply stated was the facts that these women weren't getting nominated because there weren't roles for them. They weren't creating roles for black women. As you see, once they do get in those roles, they're getting nominated. Carrie, Taraji, Regina. I mean, do you see how many black women were nominated? That's not because they didn't get nominated because they were black. They got nominated because they are good. But they couldn't show the world that they're good if the people, if the studios, if the execs don't give them the role. If they don't write roles for black women or Latin women or Asian women. So, I was so done with her and all of the people who had their little hateful comments to say. And I was really shocked that people had such, I don't know why I'm shocked, but I was really shocked that people had such hateful things to say to such a beautifully well done speech. So I don't know.
Right. I think.
Sorry, I was really emotional about that.
I see you. I'll let you have your moment. It's kind of, to me, it's kind of akin to the whole misunderstanding with the Black Lives Matter conversation, was where, that was misunderstood. And it's like, we're not, the only reason we are, making this distinction about black lives is because what's just transpired. So, I just say, even in the sports world, some of these issues it's a difference in racially related or race related and it being a racial matter or a racist matter. It may involve a certain community or a certain ethnic group or whatever, but it's not to put one above the other. Just some things are just new and true at the same time. And, you know, I know we've come a long ways, but even, you know, where we are, there are some firsts still occurring. And I can actually see, you know, where there might be some fatigue with if I was a white viewer and it was like, did they have to take it here? But unfortunately, you know, that's the situation in Hollywood or, you know, in TV land. And, you know, it just got discussed in public. But
yeah, and I think also with that is that if they're doing it for every little thing, the first black woman to ever win wardrobe or something, you know what I mean? They're not doing it for every little small thing. I think that would be really annoying. Like, okay, you know, that's redundant. But when it's a major thing, first leading in the drop, this is a big award.
It's like the two is
that's okay to mention that. Hey, okay, this was the first, you know, woman of color to win this pretty big lead award. But once they're getting into little things, then I think it's not that important. It's this is the first black person to, you know, do this or that. But I think in this case it was okay, and I think sometimes white people don't understand it or because they don't want to. That's not their life. That's not their situation. So why should they take the time to care or understand it? But hopefully now that it's passed and it's over with, we don't have to keep saying the first black woman to get something or whatever, and just the best person for it will get it. Period.
And that's actually what I was reading an article before we got on, and that's what Kerry Washington was stating in this article, was that now that we've had that first, I mean, now we can move on and start talking about excellence in general, and, you know, not about it being the first of anything. You know, now we can just talk about great quality and excellence in performance. So I thought she kind of tied that off nicely. Moving along, and then I will say that's one great thing in the sports world. You know, whenever somebody is the first, you know, the first or the latest quarterback to pass for 50,000 yards, or the NBA player that hits 18,000 points, or becomes the leading home run hitter on a you know, for a particular franchise, there really is no. There really is no consternation or fallout, you know, amongst the fans. Everybody just gets up and claps for that person's achievement, and we just keep it moving. So that's one good thing about being in the sports world. But getting ready to wrap this up here with these last two topics. We mentioned last week we both kind of were pretty fond of Regina King, kind of a great, really a great actress we've seen grow from a young lady years ago. Into really an outstanding actress, but she an outstanding performer. But she actually took home the award for outstanding supporting actress in a limited series or movie for ABC's American Crime. And, you know, I was ecstatic when you mentioned that you saw that show, because I really feel like she turned in a hell of a performance, and she was one of the reasons why I gave TNT Southland a lot of views, because she was killing it on there. And then before I turn it over to you, I really wish that Gabrielle Union could get some type of recognition for the work that she's putting in on Being Mary Jane, because she is giving you the gamut of emotions in, you know, in her role with everything, you know, when she didn't get pregnant, when you know, her boyfriend chose the other female over her, and when she's getting freaky, when she's being strong, when she had the, you know, the problems at work. I mean, she's doing so much on that show, and it's so under the radar. But I don't want to take anything away from Regina's moment. What was your thoughts about Regina getting recognized?
I'm so excited. I like you said, I've loved Regina really since the beginning, and of course that's Cincinnati. So, you know, got a lot of love for her. So I was so happy, and I think she really was not expecting it. Because, you know, of course it wasn't as big or talked about as much as like Viola and Taraji. So I was so happy for her, and I think she just did an amazing job. And literally, a year ago, she had wrote that open letter about the Emmys, about lack of diversity and all of that. And so, to see her nominated, her first Emmy nomination, when she's been putting in the work for 30 plus years in this industry, and good work. So I was really, really happy for her. I thought her speech was nice. Again, like I said, that excitement from Taraji, everybody else is sitting down and she's like, yay! Like, just that sisterhood and just the happiness. Like, it was really, I'm really happy for her, and I hope that translates into dollars for her and more roles in movies. I know she's been directing. She's done a lot. I know BET had honored her, and I think it's well deserved because she's directing multiple shows, producing movies, starring in a couple. She's doing season 2 of American Crime and season 2 of The Leftovers. So she's a hardworking woman, and so it definitely kudos to her. I agree with you on Gabrielle Union. Unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to be something that's going to be recognized at the Emmys, but I think that's really one of my top shows, right, is Being Mary Jane. She does a really good job on that, and she's always been one, I've always liked her, but I always kind of thought she played kind of the same in most of her roles.
Agreed.
But this one, she was just born for this role. She does it so well. She stepped outside of her box, and I hope she at least could get a BET award. I know they've been giving it to Rashi, but I'm like, hopefully, she can be recognized because she is really good in that show. And I cannot wait till October when it comes back.
Right. Yeah, like I said, she pours her heart into that show, and she can't rely on the gimmicks and the tricks and the trickery and the buffoonery. She has none of that. She has very little margin for error in what she's doing, and she's doing it very well. And I don't know if she can ever get to the Emmys or the Tonys or any of that type of stuff, but it's just criminal that she's being overlooked in what she's doing. But I'm sure there'll be opportunities for her, should she have the chance to move on, or once that's kind of ran its course. That's great that you mentioned that Regina will be returning to American Crime, and it's that's kind of telling. How powerful, of a performance she put in, because she's actually playing, a pretty militant Muslim woman on there. So, to play that role, sometimes the role that you play actually factors in on what awards you get considered for. Superheroes don't make it into the Oscar discussion. If you play a villain and whatnot, and you do some crazy heinous stuff in a role, some people, don't want to look at you take you as seriously as far as grading out your performance and rewarding you. So I thought that was awesome. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this last one. We are at just coming up on an hour. Again, this is Pay Me No Mind show, the Pay Me No Mind show, with my host Jasmine Dokes. At JDokes on Twitter. Lastly, Uzo Aduba has won her second Emmy, for Outstanding Actress in a Drama Series. I guess in 2014 she won for the same role. Was actually considered a guest actress in a comedy, and that's pretty big for her. I'm only in season 1 or late 1 or early 2 of Orange is the New Black, so I got a lot to catch up. But she plays a heck of a character. She gets transformed to play that character on there.
Yeah, I think she really gives it her all and her heart in that. So definitely well deserved. She's really good in that show, so I'm glad she won it, and I look forward to the future seasons. I thought her speech was really good. What I didn't like, I saw like a meme, and it had a picture of Viola kissing a white man, and then her in her Crazy Eyes character, people say, well, they